Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I will nourish my body with the sacred remnants of your food, prasad, and I will smell the sweet scent of tulsi leaves adorning those offerings. With my hands I will always execute your service, and I will forever dwell at that place where you abide. I shall employ my desires in your devotional service and will show my anger to those who are envious of you. In this way may all of my propensities and emotions earn spiritual potency by being favorably dovetailed in your interest. Anything I do which gives pleasure to your devotee I will embrace as conducive to your devotional service. Bhaktivinoda, now this line is very important. Bhaktivinoda knows neither religion nor irreligion, dharma, adharma. What is dharma and what is adharma? This is a very important discussion. In practically the whole Mahabharata and Ramayana is based on what is dharma and what is adharma. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I don't know what is dharma or adharma, but he simply wishes that all his activities will be conducive to bhakti, to pleasing to Krishna. So this is actually dharma. This is param dharma. Just like sometimes we hear Krishna is accused of inciting Arjuna to fight. Arjuna didn't want to fight. He thought it would be adharma. But Krishna told him, if you fight for me, mamanusvara yudhyacha, think of me and fight, then that is the param dharma, pleasing Krishna. So any activity, if it appears to be dharma, but it's not executed for the satisfaction of Krishna, it may be considered dharma in an extrinsic way, but it is actually adharma, because dharma means to satisfy Krishna. And any activity, even if it appears to be wrong, just like Arjuna was right when he said it was adharma to kill his gurus, to fight against his gurus. But it became the param dharma to do so when Krishna said, well, I want you to fight. So dharma and adharma is to be measured by Krishna's satisfaction. That's the point. Why so? Well, we're not going to discuss that right now. We're going to sing this song. Well, the point is very simple, because Krishna is absolute. He is the measure. He is all goodness. Dharma means that which is conducive to the benefit of all living beings. And what is conducive to the benefit of all living beings? Krishna's satisfaction. So, let's sing this. Everyone has a song sheet. Please sing with us. Alright? Now, let's see which tune I'm going to sing. Tua bhakti anukul Jai Jai Kar Chai. Very good. Everyone sang very nicely. Yeah, these songs are wonderful. They have these modern songs, all rubbish, all complete nonsense. Any one song of Bhaktivinoda is worth all these thousands and millions of songs they're always making, all just completely rubbish. Just how to enjoy this material world. The whole subject is how to enjoy this material world, and people are so foolish, they never worked out. There's no enjoyment here at all. The only enjoyment is in serving who? Krishna. Who do you want for president? Obama or what's his name? Something or other? McLean. They're all a bunch of cow killers. Vote for Krishna. You should have a devotee. What do we have? Naveen Krishna, president of USA. You have to become a US citizen first. Anyway, you'd make a better president. Anyone who is a devotee of Krishna. Yasyasti bhakti bhagavatya kinchana sarvai gunais tatra samasate sura harava bhaktasya kuto mahanguna Manoratena Saji Dhavatobihi. You know this sloka, Govinda Charan? Is it? Can you tell the translation? Say it loudly. Say it loud. Speak to the people at the back of the room so they can hear. And also you have to speak to Kavita and Madhav Gopinath. Madhav Gopinath in Secundrabad and Kavita is in where? Orlando. Okay. Orlando, the land of Walt Disney. Fort Lauderdale. That's also in Florida? Okay. Alright, tell the translation of this verse. Very important verse. Srila Prabhupada quoted it many times.
All the good qualities of the demigods reside in the personality of a true devotee of the Lord. Whereas non-devotee, however good qualities may have, they are not on the mental platform and they can go away anytime.
Thank you very much. I'll say that again in case you didn't hear it. That pure devotees of Krishna, they have all the good qualities of the demigods. This is Yasyasti Bhakti Bhagavatya Kinchana. Means those who have nothing else in their lives but service to Krishna. Then automatically all good qualities manifest in them. Whereas persons who are not devotees, they may have some qualities, but it says no mahan guna. They don't know their qualities, they can't be considered very laudable because they're all produced of the mental platform. Or literally, it's a common term, manoratham. Have you all heard this word before? Manoratham, the chariot of the mind. Imagine if you're in a car being driven around by a mad, crazy person. Well, that's what we're all doing. Because if the mind is not controlled, it's just like being in a car, you're a passenger and the driver is someone who's completely drunk and wild. It's a very dangerous situation, isn't it? Alright, well, let's go on to sing another song. Song 3 on this list. Song number 1 we sung the first day I came here. Please, just in case I forget, could you give this to Hari Vilas Prabhu? Song, and give a song sheet to Hari Vilas Prabhu, he wants to sing also. So the next song is based on a verse it's composed by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and it's based on a verse of, I have to see where it is in my book. It's based on a well-known verse of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada from the Sri Upadeshamrita, in which he describes how are we to see devotees. Should we see a devotee? This devotee is very good looking, and this one is very ugly. This one is from a Brahmin family, and this one is a Mexican, and this one is a Greek. But I'm just looking to see what is that verse in Sanskrit? Drishva svabhavajanita vapushashchata. Yeah, what's the first line? Janit, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we can read, it's practically a translation, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So these songs are very nice. They're very, very sweet poetry. And at the same time, they give us so much instruction. So we get Upadesham, instruction, and the poetic form that produces rasa. Poetry is very important in Vaishnava culture, actually. Is it? You're reading the Divya Prabandhams, is it? So the same thing can be stated in every linguistic area of India. There's so much Vaishnava poetry, isn't it? In Tamil, there's the Divya Prabandhams. In Sanskritam, of course, there's unlimited. And then we have Kannadasam, Puranda Das, and others, the Dasakuta in the Kannada-speaking area. There. In Bengal, there's so much in the Gauriya Vaishnava Sampradaya. This is one book, mostly just Bhaktivinoda Thakur's. I have a song with 5,000 songs, Bengali songs. So, that's quite a lot. And that's not all of them. I have other songbooks with other songs. Then in the Hindi-speaking area, Surdas is very popular, Mira, and others. In Orissa, there are so many. There was one, Gopal Krishna was a famous songwriter. So in all the linguistic areas of India, there's so much poetry which is sung. Song means poetry, which is sung. And although the same thing may be said in writing, but when it's in poetry, it becomes more sweet. There are different theories about kavya. Kavya means poetry. What is the essence of poetry? What is it that makes poetry poetry? And there are different theories, but our Gauriya Acharyas, they accept the theory that rasa is the life of poetry. But then real rasa is not this jara rasa or mundane poetry, not mundane, but vyatitya bhavana vartma, beyond mundane conception. Yes, chamatkara bhara bhu, which produces a great sense of wonder in the heart. Hridi sattvo jale bardham swadate saraso mataha. That can only manifest in a purified heart. If one's heart is full of lust, one will not appreciate poetry glorifying Krishna. You think, why so much about Krishna? That's sometimes people protest. Why only Krishna? They say, why only Krishna? Because if anyone says that, we can immediately understand that they're envious of Krishna. They cannot appreciate the beauty of Krishna. So generally poetry it's full of metaphors. Just like we refer to Krishna Chandra. Is Krishna Chandra here now? There's a baby Krishna Chandra. Krishna Chandra means Krishna the moon. Well, Krishna is not literally a moon. But Krishna Chandra, it's a metaphor. You all know what a metaphor is? A metaphor means when you, just like that, Krishna Chandra, you state, Krishna he's not actually a moon, but you say the moon. Or just like in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna addresses Arjuna as Purusha Vyagraha, which means a tiger, literally means a man tiger. So Arjuna is not a tiger, but he's called a tiger because that's, for a Kshatriya, that's a compliment. So, a metaphor means to use a term, an allegorical term, but to directly call a person. An allegory is a little different, or it means, or a simile. Anyway, let's not get too much into linguistics here. But poetry is like that. That it's full of analogies and metaphors. Bahu Koti Chandra Jini Vadana Rujval. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's face is more effulgent than millions of moons. So if we just say that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's face is very bright, okay, that's nice, it's good to say. But if we say it's brighter than millions of moons, then it gives a picture in the mind which is, it's very pleasing to hear that, isn't it? It makes the brightness more. It gives a metaphor by which we can imagine if there are millions of moons, but even brighter than that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's face. So poetry speaks to the heart, and here Bhaktivinoda Thakur, his poetry, much of it, it's very important for us actually, because a lot of the poetry, Vaishnava poetry, it describes the Nam, Rup, Gun, Leela, especially the Leela of Krishna, and the form of Krishna. These are very elevated subjects, but for devotees on our level, we're just trying to be devotees, at least I can speak for myself. We need a lot of instruction also. So in this poetic form, it's instruction, but it's in a very pleasing way also, even though sometimes the message is very strong. So anyway, let's read it. Let's read the translation first of song number 3, which, it's not number 3, but it's just on the sheet it's written 3. O my Lord Hari, mud and foam are seen in the waters of the Ganga, for that is the inherent nature of river water, at least the Ganga water. Who can remember? Who's seen the Ganga? Who's been to the Ganga? So most of the Ganga, it's not very clear water. At Mayapur, if you take the boat from Hularghat to Navadvip, then you start off on the Jalangi River, which is kind of black and somewhat see-through. But then when you come to the confluence of the Ganga, which is after about 200 meters, then you can see the two waters. The Ganga is brown color. It's all mixed up with mud. So if you want to drink Ganga water, which is very good for health, first you have to collect it, and then you have to keep it in a pot and keep it for a day, and all the mud settles down. Then you have to pour it off. Then you can drink it. But if you see the Ganga at Badrinath, it's not muddy there. It's very clear and very cold. But generally, once the Ganga hits the plains after Haridwar, then she becomes mixed with mud. So the Ganga is like that, but nevertheless the Ganga, it may appear muddy, but still it's pure. The Ganga water is always pure. If we say, well, this is muddy water, it's not very pure, that's a mistake to think like that, isn't it? We think, oh, that's not very good, it's all muddy. And we blame this useless. What's this? What's the point of taking bath in the Ganga? It's just all muddy. If we think like that, that's an offense to Mother Ganga. So similarly, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, or he's paraphrasing Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, one may find natural defects in the body of a Vaishnava, yet his body is always spiritual. Just like we see pictures of Prabhupada and we always used to say, oh, Prabhupada's so beautiful. Now, generally people don't, when they see that an old person, you don't think very beautiful. But Prabhupada's disciples always saw Prabhupada as very beautiful because of the spiritual effulgence. But outsiders might see an old body with wrinkles. But we should see that his body is always spiritual. Even if a Vaishnava's body has some apparent defect, just like it's considered what is called the white leprosy. That's quite common among Indian people. Maybe 1 in 1,000 or 2,000 has this what's called white leprosy. It's not leprosy actually, but the skin pigment is not there, so you get white spots on the body, and that's considered to be very inauspicious, and it doesn't look very nice actually. But if we see that on the body of a Vaishnava, we shouldn't think, well, that's because of some sinful activity he performed. We shouldn't think like that. We should know that anyway he's a pure devotee of Krishna. It is the body of a Vaishnava is never to be considered material. Whoever criticizes a Vaishnava, thinking him to be mundane, that person falls into Vishama Adharma, very deep adharma, very serious adharma. An example is there of Haridas Thakur. There was one Gopal Chakravarti who was a smarta Brahmana, and he didn't like it. Haridas is giving instruction. What is this Haridas? He's from a Muslim family and he's giving instruction. So this Gopal Chakravarti became very upset. I'm a Brahmin. People should listen to me, not to him. So this Gopal, his name was Gopal Chakravarti, he criticized Haridas. And Haridas was saying that by chanting Harinam, even by Nama Bhas, even if one is not chanting completely purely, then that will give mukti, which is ordinarily very difficult to attain. But Gopal Chakravarti didn't accept that, and he said, if it's not true, I'll cut your nose off. It's very offensive to Haridas Thakur. And Haridas Thakur said, well, if it's not true, I'll cut my own nose off. I don't want to trouble you, you're a Brahmana, so I'll cut my own nose off. But what actually happened was, within a few days, Gopal Chakravarti was very beautifully formed body. His nose started to fall off with leprosy because of his offense to Haridas Thakur. For such an offense as considering a Vaishnava, his body to be material, the fallen soul ceaselessly suffers the tortures of Yamaraj. O youthful son of Nanda, Nanda Nandana. It actually means just the son of Nanda Maharaj. I pray that I will not be destroyed by committing such an offense. The Vaishnava is your own. Your here means Krishna. The Vaishnava is your own, representing your glorious divine potency. May he be merciful to me. Then my life's journey will turn toward you, and I will attain shelter in the shade of your lotus feet. Does everyone have a song sheet? All those who just came? Do you have song sheets? Ladies, you got that? Everyone has? Okay, good. So, we'll sing. Niradharma ghato jana visalile panka fena. So, what's number 4? Let's have a look. Oh, is there a number 4 printed here? Huh? Only 3. Oh, alright. I thought there were 4. Yeah, alright. Well, any questions? General questions? Hare Krishna. On subjects concerning Krishna consciousness?
Maharaj, you were mentioning about not offending Ganga by seeing the...
I was mentioning not offending Ganga by seeing it as dirty. Not only that, but Srila Prabhupada mentioned that in Calcutta, you used to see sometimes because of this, people pass stool on the side of the Ganga, or they have the sewage system, where then the stool comes in the Ganga, but people just push it away and they go on and take their bath. And Prabhupada also said that he sees that anyone who bathes in the Ganga regularly, they become very healthy, even physically. Yeah.
Similarly, like when we go to Vrindavan for Parikrama.
There's another saying, Jara Ganga nikote take tara kokhano Ganga snan kore na. Hindi mein jo Ganga ke paas rehte wo aadmi kabhi bhi Ganga mein snan nahi karte. They think I'll go tomorrow. Every day they think I'll go tomorrow. They go through their whole... That means those who live next to the Ganga, they never take bath in the Ganga. So it's like that. People think, well, I'll take up bhakti seriously. Not just now. First I'll do all my family business. I'll take up bhakti seriously later. And they go their whole life like that. In the end of life, they go to hell. So better do it now. Go to hell means they may go to heaven also, but there's not that much difference. Yeah. Although I did hear one of my godbrothers say that if I have a choice between serving Krishna in heaven or hell, I'd rather choose heaven. But that's actually not the message of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Narayana parasarve nakutasya bibhyati swarga pavarga narakeshvapitu yarta darshana. One of my godbrothers who lives in Australia, he said, I'd rather be in a good climate and where there's plenty of money, like that. But the actual Bhagavad philosophy is that Tulyartha darshanaha, a pure devotee sees heaven, hell, and even liberation is the same. Yeah, sorry, what was your question or comment?
Vrindavan,
yeah.
We see a lot of Radha Kunda, Brahma Kunda, and a lot of ponds like that with a lot of...
lot of ponds with a lot of what appears to be pollution. Yeah, be careful.
So how do we...
Be careful, yeah. One of my disciples, he drank some water from Govinda Kund and almost died. He got so sick. For weeks he was sick like anything. So, yeah, we understand it's fully spiritual and you can bathe there, but you have to be careful about drinking the water.
So how do we...
And even if we see it as purely spiritual, if it's, just like Prabhupada said that, the government in India is so, Srila Prabhupada used the term rascalish, that they're deliberately making so many factories with chemical waste in Delhi to discourage, and all the waste goes in the Yamuna to discourage people from bathing in the Yamuna. Prabhupada said they're deliberately doing that, because if it's all full of chemicals, it's dangerous. I remember as a child reading in the newspaper that in some rivers in England, if you jump off the bridge to commit suicide, you'll be dead before you hit the water from the fumes coming up from the river. You can't drown. It's not possible to drown in the river, because you'll die. Your body, it's just like you heard about that. What's those fish in the Amazon River? Piranha fish. If you jump in the river, then within 2 minutes your whole body is eaten to pieces. So you can live next to the river your whole life, but you can't walk in it. If you even put your foot in, it'll get eaten immediately by those fish. They're so dangerous. You can't swim in the river, ever. The river's dangerous. You're living next to the river, but it's very dangerous. So, what's that got to do with Krishna consciousness? Well, the material world, very dangerous, I guess. We could relate it to that. Looks nice. You like to go for a swim? You can commit suicide by taking a swim in the river. Yeah, so?
So how do we avoid this? Because
how do we avoid this offense? By singing this song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur and understanding that the Yamuna is, or these kundas, they're completely pure spiritual water, and the fact that people don't maintain them properly, or they deliberately put chemicals into them, doesn't change the nature of the Yamuna River. People, they mix their material substances with it. But the Ganga by nature is fully pure. The Ganga is actually a Devi. So people can mix what appears to be material contamination, but the purifying quality of the Ganga, just like I was saying, Prabhupada often used to say you'll become very healthy by bathing in the Ganga. But that's not the real gift of the Ganga. The real gift of the Ganga is that she purifies one of sinful reactions and helps one to develop a spiritual consciousness. But it may take some time. Like Narottam Das Thakur says, that what is it? Gangara parasho hele paschate pavan tomara darshane. What is it? Doshane pavitra karo e tomar gun. That after taking bath in the Ganga many times, one may become purified of sinful reactions. It may take some time. But simply by seeing a Vaishnava, one is immediately purified. That's why what makes the holy place pure is the presence of pure devotees. Tirtha kurvanti tirthani swantastena gadabrita. This is said that Yudhishthira Maharaj said to Vidura Bhavad vidha bhagavatas tirtha bhuta swayam prabho tirtha kurvanti tirthani swantas tena gatabrita. That you, a great devotee like you, he said to Vidura, you make the holy places holy. You make them into holy places because you carry Krishna in your heart. And you may say, well, it's holy because what are the holy places? Places like Chitrakoot, Ayodhya, Nathdwara, these are holy places because of the presence of the Lord, either in His deity form or because He visited that place. But still, the Lord may be present, but we may not be able to perceive Him. It depends. Just like I visited some holy places, actually I visited many holy places in India. But there have been holy places. There's one place I went to, and I went there with tremendous difficulty actually. But very shortly after arriving I just left. Because the behavior of the people there was so bad, I didn't want to stay. I just left. I got out as soon as I could. I mean, it was like they were almost literally jumping on me to try to loot whatever little money I had in my pockets. So it's a holy place, but you don't feel the presence of the Lord because there's people there who are not in a mood of bhakti. But if there are pure devotees, they manifest Krishna to us. They help us to find Krishna. Otherwise we may, just like so many people go to Vrindavan, nowadays Vrindavan, it's like a tourist place. The atmosphere is very much like that. And last time I was there, I saw an advertisement for condominiums, in which there was Vairagya Mahal, so the name was something like that. Renunciation Palace. It says complete with AC and hot water, TV, what's that channel, circuit, what's it called? Cable TV. You know, it's completely against, what are you coming to Vrindavan for? It's just against the spirit of Vrindavan. Srila Prabhupada, he wanted his disciples in Vrindavan to live a very renounced life so that people in Vrindavan would appreciate that. So, anything else?
This is a song of instructions or warnings just for devotees or for all people in general?
Are they instructions for devotees or for all people in general? Well, it's for everyone's supposed to be a devotee, but definitely the devotees, they will take it more seriously. I mean, who will be interested in singing the songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur except devotees? Of course, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he did sing some songs under a pen name, which were meant for sahajiyas. They were directed at bowels. They were written in the bowel genre, or the bowel type songs. So they were aimed at people who like bowel songs. They all have practically the same tune and the same meter and everything. So people like da 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 da. This bowel. If you hear these songs, this bowel song is like that. So people, it's a bowel song, and then they'll listen, and he's telling them that nake, what is that? Galai mala nake tila, and songe ek pore bala, that you've got tilak on your nose and neck beads on your neck, and you're running around with someone else's wife. So he's telling them not to be a nonsense. But generally these songs are for devotees who are interested in bhakti. They will sing these songs. Otherwise, who will sing these songs? Yeah.
And he also says the consequence of the sinful reaction.
the sinful reactions of seeing a Vaishnava as a or considering him a mundane person. Yeah, well, that accrues to non-devotees, doesn't it?
Is it more degree?
Well, knowledge is a devotee one who's in knowledge? One who's not in knowledge, if they're openly offensive to a devotee, they have to get a sinful reaction. Just like I gave the example of this Gopal Chakravarti who insulted Haridas Thakur. He got a very quick sinful reaction. And there's also this Gopal Chapal who insulted Srivas Thakur. There are many examples. But for one who's taken up the process of devotional service, if he makes an offense to devotees, then that is very serious, because going to hell and all that kind of thing, I was just quoting that verse where it says that a Vaishnava is not afraid of going to hell. I mean, that's a real Vaishnava. Because if we ask, where would you like to serve? Sometimes you see advertisements on devotee websites, the same thing, that wanted temple president in nice sunny, whatever the place is, and all facilities. But if we put an advertisement that for going and preaching in some dangerous country where there's no money and very difficult to get any proper food, and it doesn't sound. Of course, someone who wants a lot of mercy, they'll take it. Who wants to go and preach in Saudi Arabia, for instance? Well, it's probably the best way to preach in Saudi Arabia is through the internet, actually. Because to go there and preach, it's very difficult, it's very restricted. Or in the universities in America, where there are people from such countries come and study. Recently in Munich, in Germany, 2 women approached me, young women, with jeans and t-shirts and all this, and they were asking me about this, and I said, take a book, and I said, we can't, we're Muslims. I said, where are you from? From Saudi Arabia. So they were interested, but once they're outside the country, you see, there's no burqa. You don't have to wear a burqa in Germany. Anyway, I'm just saying that for a devotee, he doesn't see any difference. A pure devotee doesn't see any difference between heaven and hell. So a pure devotee won't mind going to hell, but he does mind making offenses. But at the same time, we can't give up our discrimination. That the sahajiyas, they do all kinds of nonsense, and if you point out this is nonsense, they say, don't make Vaishnava aparad. And that's sometimes in our ISKCON society also. I mean, someone is clearly deviating, and that should be pointed out for the protection of the devotees, that if someone is talking nonsense philosophy, that should be pointed out. Otherwise, especially if there's a leader, and it does happen, it has happened, if they're saying something which is not according to Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, that should be pointed out. Or they should, at least privately, they should be corrected for the benefit of Vaishnava society. But what happens if you do say it, then people say, oh, that's a Vaishnava aparad. So is it an aparad to point out some philosophical mistake? No, it's not. Of course, the way you do it one may try to do it in a manner which is civilized. Or transcendentally civilized, but if all else fails, one may have to say this is complete nonsense. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was regularly accused of being a Vaishnava aparadi, because he pointed out in very clear terms that certain people who were considered by others as great Vaishnavas, they were deviants, they were propagating nonsense. He had to fight all his life. The main people he was fighting with, who were they? They were so-called Vaishnavas, who actually tried to kill him at some point. Because he pointed out that they're talking nonsense and they're exploiting people in the name of Vaishnavism. So one shouldn't make it requires fine discrimination to understand who is actually a Vaishnava. That's why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wrote this poem which is titled Vaishnava K. Who is a Vaishnava? So we should be very careful to avoid Vaishnava aparad. But it may also be another aparad if someone is propagating nonsense and we don't protect the Vaishnava society by pointing it out. So this is a delicate question. What to do in such a circumstance? In such a circumstance, it's very valuable to study the behavior of great devotees. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is very lenient in some ways, but when there was this Gopi Bhava club in Los Angeles where devotees were reading Prabhupada's books, but they were selectively reading only topics discussing about intimate relations of Krishna and the gopis, and Prabhupada became very angry and stopped them. No, don't discuss this only. Don't discuss this at all. You're not qualified. And then again, when one of Prabhupada's, a devotee who had been assisting Prabhupada in Sanskrit translation, and by reading Sanskrit he thought he knew better than Prabhupada, the fool. And then he left Prabhupada's association. He had Prabhupada's direct association. He was assisting Prabhupada in preparing his translations. And he wrote a letter to Prabhupada saying, please give me your blessing so I can find a pure devotee as a guru. What a rascal. So Prabhupada rejected him as a black snake. He shouldn't be allowed in our society. So we should see. He was propagating a wrong idea, a very offensive idea. So it may even seem, just like twice I gave a lecture here in this short visit on the verse where Prabhupada begins the purport by saying that there are many devotees who assume themselves to be in Krishna consciousness but at heart do not accept Krishna, the Supreme Person, as the Supreme Absolute Truth, Personality of Godhead. So there may be people who assume that, and people think, oh, they're great devotees. But if there's some philosophical mistake, then it's all bogus. People might say, well, there's so much bhav, but it cannot be pure bhav. If there's bogus philosophy, that means Krishna has not revealed within their heart the proper understanding. We may say someone's a great devotee, but there's some philosophical error. But great pure devotees don't make philosophical errors because Krishna guides them how to understand things properly. It's only people who have wrong philosophy means we don't see Krishna as he is, or we don't see Bhakti Devi as she is. And therefore we get a wrong conclusion. That's called apasiddhanta or kusiddhanta. So this wrong way of thinking comes to persons who are actually envious of Krishna. So we can't say that someone's a great devotee with a wrong philosophy. It doesn't happen. We have to have the right philosophy to become great devotees, and if one is actually a great devotee, they must have a proper philosophical understanding. They won't be wrong. So try to understand. Siddhanta Baliyat Chite na karaha alash iha hoite Krishna lage sudri ramanosh. Don't be lazy in understanding Siddhanta. People, they don't want philosophy. They want bhav. We'll just hear. But Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who's written Chaitanya Charitamrita, which reveals the ecstasies of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is also, the beginning is very deep and stringent philosophy establishing the Godhead of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he says, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, don't be lazy in understanding Siddhanta. This makes the mind strongly attached to Krishna. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur he commented in a similar way, Siddhanta alash jun anartha to charena. Someone who is lazy in the matter of understanding Siddhanta, they don't get free of anarthas. We'll always if we're not interested in understanding Krishna as he is, If we just want Krishna to be some object of our sentimental enjoyment, but we don't want to understand Krishna as he is, which is a precursor to surrendering to, or part of the Sharanagati process of surrendering to him, then that in itself is an anartha. The lack of desire to hear how Krishna explains himself in Bhagavad Gita. So we cannot get free of anarthas unless we understand Krishna as he is, which is why Prabhupada was always explaining Krishna as he is. People think we want to go higher than what Prabhupada gave us. They think he was only speaking basic philosophy. It was actually the highest philosophy. And if we understand that, then everything will be revealed. If we apply ourselves to this process of surrendering to Krishna, understanding him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as he states in Bhagavad Gita, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matha sarvang pravartate. I am the source of everything, from me everything comes. Iti matva bhajante mam. Understanding this, they worship me. Who worships me? Buddha bhava samandita. Those who have understood this, who are intelligent, and from this, the bhava comes. So, as Srila Prabhupada sometimes said, don't think you'll find Krishna loitering in a bush in Vrindavan. You'll find him better just like devotees are going out for distributing books. You'll find Krishna better in the hellish cities of America, where people are they're not looking for Krishna. But we can find Krishna, because Krishna will reveal himself to us if we try to serve his mission. Whereas if we think, I'll just go and enjoy myself, and I want instant praying. Just like we saw on that website, what was that? That we saw on some website today. We were looking for something, and we saw like instant You can get immediately all the meditation secrets of all the great gurus instantly. Instant enlightenment, something like that. He says, no need to do sadhana for hundreds of years. We'll give you, it's a new process which we discovered. And you can instantly get all the yoga secrets of all the meditation immediately, instantly. It's bogus. Obviously it's bogus. Just like you should have an instant coffee, you can have instant enlightenment. It's just completely bogus. So people who want enlightenment, or they want the bliss of bhakti without the surrender, without the hard work of clearing all the dirty things out of our hearts, they're bogus. They're not serious, and they won't get Krishna. They may think, we're so advanced. Near to Delhi, there's one place I was going. There's one person there he's found some Baba in Varshana, and they're all devotees of Lalita Sakhi, and they all think they're great devotees of Lalita Sakhi, but they have no idea of even the basics of bhakti, and they're criticizing. See, these people, they're just talking Bhagavad Gita, but we're interested in Lalita Sakhi. But they'll get Lalita, which means Lalita is also a name for Durga, common name for Durga. Lalita Sahasranam. Lalita Sahasranam is recited by Shaktas. Lalita here means Durga. So Lalita means who's charming. So those who are charmed by the material energy of Krishna, they will go for some cheap process and think that they are dancing with Lalita or something like this. Their guru is, that's it. Who is their guru? Lalita is our guru. Hare Krishna. Enough of that. So Hare Krishna, we'll finish here. Thank you very much for coming. Please sing these songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur whenever you have time, and along with reading Prabhupada's books, performing service in the temple, and chanting minimum 16 rounds every day. There are so many wonderful things to do in bhakti, we don't get enough time, but this is something that I personally find is very